So thank you for joining. So today's episode is going to be from 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Weiss. And this chapter is called 50 People on the Most Liberating Thought They've Ever Had. So I'm going to go through the different thoughts and go from there and just dissect them that way. So before I get into it, hopefully you guys are having a great week, great Sunday, and hopefully this can be helpful or just make you think about life in general. Just skimming through the different quotes, they seem very helpful, so I'll just go from there. So it says, your life unfolds in a succession of revelations. It's when you set down the book and stare ahead and repeat the sentence in your mind again and again. Apply it to every little thing you twist to make applicable. You answer questions you didn't know you were asking, tie ends you left off years ago. The key to a completely liberating thought is that it's self-evident. It's proven itself in your experience. It doesn't have to solve the problem. It has to help you understand why you had it in the first place. Every conscious thought you have either circles you back into the mental cycle you're in, or it liberates you from it. Some cycles are healthy, some are not. Some you want to maintain, some you don't. Some you want to change and you know you want to change them. Some you want to change and you don't know you want to change them. Some you need to change and you don't know how. I think your life improves in direct proportion to how often you are put in situations in which you have no choice but to seek a greater truth. That is something I think. People who are comfortable don't have to keep reading or searching or seeking. They don't grow because they don't have to. A sad but important thing to know about humans is that they don't change until not changing is the less comfortable option. I know that my success has been directly proportionate to my suffering. That is something I know. That is the experience to which I have arrived at the aforementioned theory. At this point, the most liberating thought I have ever had is that I would not change a thing. Everything in my life served a purpose, the darkest and shittiest and terrible and most self-destructive among them. They all brought me here. I was never crazy. I was the product of my circumstances. That one took a long time to completely acknowledge. Yeah, that one hit me. But it's true. I responded and reacted and behaved the way any normal, healthy, functioning person would and should. I wasn't supposed to be happy. Had I responded well or complacently, I would have ended up where I was headed. I would have lived the life other people imposed on me. I would have actually constituted for being mentally ill. It was crucial that I didn't have it together or consistently feel good. I grew out of my suffering by being able to perceive what was wrong and uncomfortable, really without knowing any differently. How incredible is that we can know when something is wrong even if we aren't entirely sure what the opposite would be. There's not a good thing in the world that was not built of 1,000 tiny revolutions, and people are no exception. I wanted to compile a series of not only the most liberating thoughts, the revelations that have changed and shaped and created me, but also other people's. Here's 49 strangers shared theirs, or one is mine, in hopes that maybe some of them can be yours as well. So these are not mine. These are obviously from the author. So there's 50 of them. So number one says, I get to choose what I think about. Number two, I don't owe anybody an apology for disagreeing with them. Number three, you can have everything you want, just not at the same time. And if you think that's unfortunate, consider that if you had everything at once, you wouldn't really experience or enjoy it completely. That's very true. Everything happens the way it's supposed to in certain time. You can't get everything at the same time. You won't be able to give it the right attention, let alone just appreciate it. Number four, you can choose your family. You can choose your religion. You can choose who you are every day, and it doesn't have to be the same person you were yesterday. You do not have to become only what other people are comfortable with or can understand. Number five, my life does not define me. I define my life. This moment is not my life. This is a moment in my life. I think that's an important one. I think when, even when you think about I'm having a bad day, just because you're having a bad day or things might not be going the way you think, That doesn't have to define your life, and doesn't really have to define your day, right? You can have, more than likely, you're not having a bad day, you're having a bad moment within your day. And, we kind of tend to, once one thing goes bad during the day or in our life, we say, oh, my life is bad, or my day is bad, when really it's just that moment. So being able to switch that perspective is important. Number 6, everything I perceive is a projection of who I am. If I want to change my life, I change myself. Number 7, I don't have to accept anything. I don't have to change everything. Number 8, freedom is a state of mind. For sure. I definitely agree with that one. Freedom is a state of mind, because even if your mind, the way you think, determines the way your life is and the way you live. If you feel like you aren't anything, or that's what you tell yourself, and that's what you think in your mind, and that's what you will be. Number 9, there's nothing you can have forever, but there are many things you'll miss experiencing if you're too busy trying to keep them rather than love them while you have them. Again, more so like appreciating the moment and not trying to predict the future or keep holding on to something or some people that are, for forever. Number 10, there are so many kinds of love worth pursuing other than romantic love. There are so many experiences to have other than just happiness. Anything other than ideal is not failure, it's life. It's what we're made for and meant for. Number 11, I am a person of value. I deserve happiness. I deserve to be kind to myself. I deserve love. It's an affirmation you should tell yourself and believe. Number 12, I will get over what I'm struggling with in the very same way I got over the other things I thought I never could. That's the most comforting thought, in my opinion. Comparing what you're going through to what you've been through and knowing you have what it takes to get through it, right? Just when you're going through stuff, I feel like I've said this before, like remembering I've been through worse, or I've been through stuff like this before, or been through situations where I thought I wasn't going to make it, and here I am. So just keep pushing, but also tap into who, in your strength, and knowing that you can get through it if you want to. Number 13, you don't remember years, you remember moments. Number 14, I'm not supposed to be anything other than what I am. 15, nothing is permanent, not even the worst feelings. It's an important one, especially when you're going through like a heartbreak, or just sad, or angry, or confused, or even happy. Number 16, I can change my experience just by deciding to see things differently. And I may not be in control of what happens around and toward me, but I am always in control of how I see it, how I respond, and how I react. At the end of the day, that is all I am responsible for. Number 17, nobody cries at a funeral because the world will be missing out on another pretty face. They cry because the world is missing another heart, another soul, another person. Don't wait until it's too late to focus on what will actually matter, creating something that lasts far beyond your body. Number 18, people do not love you based on a flowchart on which they compare you to other people. People who are the prettiest and thinnest and best off financially are not the most loved. They do not live the best lives. I have to remind myself that every time I start worrying more about what I look like than what I am. Number 19, the moment is all that exists. The cliche that tells you to live in it is overdone, but there's no other option, really. It's whether or not you're paying attention that's the problem. Very true, right? Because I feel like we hear that a lot, like live in the moment, but living in the moment is great, but are you like paying attention to what's going on and embracing it too? That's important. Number 20, the way to get through anything is to embrace the fact that whatever comes with a reason. Whatever stays with a reason. Whatever hurts with reason. Ignoring or fighting the effect will not fix the cause. 21, what you focus on expands. 22, this too shall pass. 23, I've always been compelled to act when I was meant to. I never had to think too hard about the things that were meant to be. I only had to be open to them. 24, what I went through made me who I am. What I'm going through will make me what I will be. What I choose to put my energy toward now will create that person. I decide, my circumstances don't. That's a good one. 25. Never forget that you are not in the world is in you. When anything happens to you, take the experience inward. Creation is set up to bring you constant hints and clues about your role as a co-creator. Your soul is metabolizing experience as surely as your body is metabolizing food. That's a quote from Deepak Chopra. 26. There is always a way, even when it feels like it. Even when it least feels like it. There is always a way. There are different jobs, new ideas, apartments opening up across the country, flights leaving in the next hour to the places I've always wanted to go. There is a way to find the money, get the gig, find the love. There is always a way. I'm never stuck. I am only in the mindset that I am. So, again, reminder, there's always a way to get to where you're trying to be and achieve whatever that you want for yourself. 27. There is no grand moment in life. You don't wake up and say, aha, I've made it. Happiness is all in details. The joy is all in the journey. Always has been, always will be. 28. The purpose of being here is growth. Growth means being able to experience and see more because you are aware of it. The purpose of being here then is expanding awareness. 29. The worst things to happen to me were the things that had to teach me what nothing else could. To prepare me for things so wonderful I couldn't imagine them, let alone know I had to get ready for them. 30. You haven't failed until you've stopped trying. That's a big one. 31. I do not have to adopt other people's problems as my own to help them. 32. You do not have to be loved by everybody to be worthy of love. 33. The present is the only time. If you don't start living in it, you don't really live at all. 34. You teach people how to treat you. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. This is a big one, especially when it comes to dating. 35. My only regret in my entire life is just that I didn't enjoy it more. I do not want to be in that. I want to enjoy my life. Even when I know that's not always going to be great, but I don't want to regret not enjoying life. 36. The things I'm meant to have will simply come to me. All I am responsible for is making sure I'm ready. That is a very, very good one, a big one. When you prepare yourself mentally and just in general as a whole for the things that you want, they will come. You just have to be ready. 37. Don't take anything too seriously. Nobody gets out alive anyway. I'm sure you guys have heard that one. 38. I cannot change those around me. Real change happens one by one, each person doing the only thing they can, seeing where they can stand to improve as opposed to pointing fingers at the injustices they see in others. 39. Wisdom is knowing that you don't and will never really know anything. We used to believe the earth was flat. A discovery changed that. You don't know that we won't discover we're all robots in some matrix simulation, or I don't know. The point is, wisdom is just being, not making sense of. Number 40. I once bought a train ticket for myself and was on a trip that I completely funded and realized that I can support myself and I don't have to answer or please anybody else. I work so hard I can live the way I want. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a great feeling. Number 41. I am infinite. People always say, what would you do if you could live forever? Well, I'm here to say, if you believe your soul is eternal, you can. What are you doing with it now? 42. Even if you abandon faith, hope, and love, they don't leave you. That's very true. If you really believe, in God and stuff, or whatever faith or religion you believe in, even when we abandon that or we go astray, there, whatever you believe in, whatever entity you believe in will be there for you, waiting, really. 43. I am made of love and light. That is who I essentially am. Everything else is simply a disconnect. I am not one thing that has to be transformed into another. I am love and light. I choose whether or not I remember that or I decide to be blocked out of fear. Ooh, that's a good one. You are love and light. Like I always say, the light in me sees the light in you, and you are love. And when you give love, you get love back. You give what you get. You give what you are. You get what you are, right? If you live in fear, you will get things that make you heighten your fear. Don't let fear block it. 44. When you step into a library, all the knowledge in the world is before you. When you wake up each day, all the possibility in the world is too. You choose whether or not you just see books. You choose whether or not you just see another day. 45. I am always one choice away from changing everything. That is a good one, and I've seen that quite a lot before, and it's true, right? Because sometimes I've experienced that recently. Like, the universe you can be manifesting and praying for something, and you feel like, okay, it's not happening, and then you'll get a choice. Sometimes the universe will test you and bring you something, and how you choose. Say the choice that you make based on what's being presented to you can determine whether you move forward and get the things that you want, or are you telling the universe that you still haven't learned the lesson or something like that, and you need to stay, sort of. But basically what it's saying is you're one choice away from changing everything, whether that be to the way that you want it to change or the way that things need to change. 46. If I choose not to be upset, not to spend time feeling a certain way, then I do not feel upset. If I do not feel upset, then I have not been harmed. Marcus Aurelius said something similar, but I prefer it in my own words. So basically, you choose how you want to feel. 47. There is immeasurable joy in the small things. In a great book, fresh vegetables, a warm bed, the arms of someone you love. These things in our twisted world are rarely valued, but in the end, they're probably the most joy we're going to have. 48. We take our lives way too seriously. In a few hundred years, most people will be completely forgotten about. That's not depressing, that is liberating. Do what you can and make it hella good. Give love and do what you most genuinely want to. It won't matter anyway, so make it matter now. 49. I do not have to be what other people see me as. I do not have to assume they know best. I feel like that's a repeated one in these, in different ways, but saying the same thing, be who you are and not worry about what other people think of who you think you should be. Number 50. You're going to be okay. Not because I said so, but because okay is where we all end up, even if we mess up entirely along the way. So yeah, those are the 50 most liberating things that people have said, and hopefully that was insightful to you. And there's another thing that I was going to share about growth that I saw. It says, this is from someone's page on Instagram. Her page is Dora Kamau. I'll post it on my page. But it says, some periods of our growth are so confusing that we don't even recognize that growth is happening. We may feel hostile or angry or weepy and hysterical, or we may feel depressed. It would never occur to us unless we stumbled on a book or a person who explained to us that we were in fact in the process of change, of actually becoming larger spiritually than we were before. Whenever we grow, we tend to feel it, as a young seed must feel the weight and inertia of the earth as it seeks to break out of its shell on its way to becoming a plant. Often the feeling is anything but pleasant, but what is most unpleasant is the not knowing what is happening. Those long periods when something inside ourselves seems to be waiting, holding its breath, unsure about what the next step should be, eventually become the periods we wait for. For it is in those periods that we realize that we are being prepared for the next phase of our life, and that in all probability, a new level of the personality is about to be revealed. That's from Alice Walker, Living by the Word. And I thought that was a pretty interesting, thing about growth. Especially how it says, those, when we're in growth periods, we might feel hostile or angry or confused or just, all these bad emotions, but, and it's unpleasant because you don't know what's happening. I think that's what makes us feel like that. But those are also the periods that we long for as you keep growing, because you start to realize that those are the periods when you recognize that you're going through a growth period, and yet you're spiritually going to be put into the next phase. So they should go from of times of feeling unsure and afraid or angry to like excitement, because you know that when this is happening, that something else is coming up, and you're entering a new phase, and essentially you've kind of passed the test and you're ascending to the next level. So it becomes something to be happy and look forward to, and you enjoy it. You enjoy the unknown, because it's kind of like a break period, but it's also like, it gives you time to appreciate where you are, because you're about to go somewhere else that you more than likely not going to be able to go back to where you are right now. That makes sense. So again, hopefully that was helpful too, and just continue to allow yourself to grow. We are in the last of 2022. So this year is going by fast. This month is going by fast. It's literally over in 2 weeks. I don't even know how that happened, but Christmas is like 2 weeks away from today. So just continue to grow. We just had a full moon. I think it was on Friday, or I think so. I know it was a couple of days ago. Yeah, I think it was on Friday, on the 9th. So a lot of growth and just a lot of changes coming, and let it flow and let things just be. And remember, let the universe do what it needs to do in your life. Let it remove who needs to remove, or vice versa, whatever. And also, let people do what they want to do, so that you can decide what you want to do. Don't try to control other people. The only thing you should be trying to control is yourself, and even that to an extent. Like, just live in the moment. Like a lot of these people kept saying, living in the moment and enjoying the moment, because we can't go backwards in time. You can't go forwards in time. You can only be where you are right now. So you're where you are for a reason. If you're listening to the podcast, you're listening at this time for a reason. Maybe you need to hear one of those things. So just enjoy the right now, and just keep going, and be open, and be ready. Be ready for whatever it is that you need, because what you need is coming. It might not be in the way you want it, or the time that you want or you think is for you, but as always, divine timing. God knows what He's doing. So enjoy your time. As always, I'm your host, Chanel. This is the Black Hippie Lounge. You can follow the podcast on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok at Black Hippie Lounge. You can rate and review, follow on like Apple Music, Spotify, etc. The link is in my bio on Instagram and TikTok, I think, where you can click the link to find the different platforms to listen to the podcast that work for you. And as always, meditate, manifest, invest in you. And thank you for listening. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.